is when using AI for a second opinion, I think one of you mentioned that earlier, and James, that might have been you, I think. Um, are you finding that the results differ from any human work product in any surprising or interesting ways?
That's a great question. And I've asked my team about this. So I'm not the only one in the firm using it. Several people use this, and I collect their feedback on that. And what we've seen is that it will be in the generally same direction. Some of the features will be identified, but the wording may be different. And that wording then is what we do to adjust it to what the client wants. Maybe the client doesn't like functional language. Maybe they like the words configured to. Maybe they don't. So we will adjust the wording. What we're finding is, in general, there is a alignment between what we were thinking of, what the tool comes up with. Then we may also dial back the scope or adjust the scope further so that it's either broader, more narrow, move something to a dependent claim. But in general, there's consistency, which is why I like to use it as a second opinion, because I feel like the attorney has the history, the knowledge, they know the client, and
Mhm.
so they generally have a sense of what will work in this area. And then the tool comes in and helps supplement that, provides the rest of it, provides good arguments, some other amendments that maybe, again, I glossed over. I'll put those in a dependent claim, or I'll put that in the agenda for the interview with the examiner. And sometimes it's the totality of the amendment and the argument, as opposed to any one singular feature being added, can win the day and be persuasive. So overall, yes, I've seen them much more in alignment more recently. It's very helpful to me.
And let me ask you guys this as well. Do you find that when you are using the AI as a drafting, whether it be drafting for office action responses or whether it be for drafting in the first instance, that things will come up that will plant seeds that maybe you hadn't necessarily thought about, but then when you read it, it gets your creative juices flowing, and now you know, okay, well, that's going to be a real interesting path. Let me elaborate on that and go down that path. Have any of you had that kind of experience?
So, Gene, I can speak to that. I was working on an epigenetics technology, and the inventors had thought of certain ways to use DNA targeting constructs, and the software actually, Samir's IP authors started coming up when prompted. It came up with some different ways to accomplish the targeting of DNA. And this really got the creative juices flowing because I went back to the inventors and I said, "Hey, you had this inventive idea. Can it be done this way?" And they came back and said, "Well, yeah, actually, these are alternative examples." So I have found that at least in the patent drafting, the creativity can be sparked by the software. As far as the office action tool, one of the great features I found is that the USPTO outputs these XML files, and Samir's software integrates intimately with the USPTO's XML files to generate the office action responses, and that very quickly gets me some creative ideas on how to respond to the office action.